Woohoo! It's Sunday night. Yes, and that means it's Sunday night service with Dani.
And Dr. Mont.
Yes, it is. And so it's Sunday night. And tonight, oh yeah, look here. Cheers.
Cheers.
Okay.
Ooh,
woo!
wow.
It's got a little kick, doesn't it?
That's fantastic.
Guess what I bought?
What is this?
$4.99 from what? From Sprouts. $4.99 from Sprouts. No, that's a lie. Trader Joe's.
Trader Joe's.
And this girl sold it too. She said, Dani, or she didn't call me Dani, but she was a customer. She said, this stuff is fantastic. It's kind of got a little effervescence to it, doesn't it?
That is very good. It has that little spice to it. Like, I mean,
a little kick
to it.
Like a little bubbly.
Wow,
it's white. It's white, and it's it's $4.99. All right, guys. As soon as you get logged on, hit your share buttons, hit your heart buttons, your like buttons, all that. Hit your share buttons, and then go share.
Hi, everyone.
Start a watch party, and then start a watch party again. So now I just started a watch party. All right, y'all. Hello, fed up pharmacist. I can't wait to see you this weekend, or this week, I mean. All right, guys, we are talking stress tonight.
Stress.
If you have ever had any stress, hit your heart buttons. If you're under stress currently, hit your heart buttons, or don't hit your down buttons because that looks bad, but or your like buttons. But I want you to post your questions up here. Hey guys, we're so happy you guys are on here, and I'm so happy he's back. But are you under stress?
Yes.
Right? Are you creating your own stress? Right? Are you the creator of the stress? Are you the problem, right? Or is it somebody else? And we're going to talk about things tonight, but usually I spend hours, we do, trying to get this stuff together, looking up all this stuff. And I started on it today, and I started on it long before today, but then I just was like stressed out.
She was stressed out about researching stress.
I was like, well, this is bull crap. You know what? I'm 53 years old.
You don't look
I know. Well, I am. Thank you. Well, thank you, doctor. I appreciate that. I'm 53 years old, and I've got enough stress in my life, and I'm not going to stress over this because you know what? We're talking stress, and this is bullshit. And so, sorry, that's just exactly how I felt. So I've got a few things we're going to talk about, and then we're just going to talk because you know what? Talking is one way you can decrease the stress in your life, talking it out. But guess what? So do you know that we are the only country right now where the life expectancy is declining?
Oh, goodness.
It's falling.
Really?
The life expectancy is falling. Suicide has increased 30% in the last 30 years.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay? I learned this today when I was researching all of this and getting stressed out about it. And Dr. Sanjay Gupta was on a YouTube video, and I didn't know that on HBO this week, March the 25th, so just last week, he released a documentary called Stress is Killing Us.
Stress is killing us.
It is killing us,
yes.
And the research shows it. Do you know that he said in his research, because I used his research, 12th graders now are less likely to drive. They're less likely to go to the prom. They're also less likely to drink, that's a good one, than 8th graders a generation ago. Social media is a huge part of this.
Okay, keep going. I love
right?
to hear this.
Right? The mental health toll is huge on these kids from social media. Wow. And they're not learning any social skills.
No interaction.
No interaction. So, Ella, my son went to the prom. He went to the prom every year he could go to the prom. He was like me. He went to the prom. Ella never went to the prom. Now, there were things. She was bullied and she was picked on. She had a lot of stress in her life. And, things we talked about last time about adverse childhood experiences. You weren't here about the lion being at the classroom every time, or at the door of the school every time you got off. So that's kind of how she lived with stress. So she never went to the prom. And she was listening to this today. She said, did you hear that? Kids aren't going to the prom now. Yeah, and multiple reasons, but they're not going to the prom. And they are not driving. Do you know this? Did you know that they're not getting their license?
I did not know
so
that.
I knew this because I have several patients who tell me their kids have zero interest in driving. Like, do not want to drive.
Is it too overwhelming to them?
It's too overwhelming. They don't want to be out on the road. And if y'all know this or you've heard this, hit your buttons, because I'm going to tell you right now, when the day I turned 16, January 18th, whatever year that was, I turned 16, I was at the courthouse in my best friend, or my good friend at the time, Beth Eaton, her red Pinto, Ford Pinto, no power steering. And I was like this, trying to parallel park. And I was getting my driver's license. I was not about to not have my driver's license. So these kids, though, they're just not doing it. They're under so much stress. Do you know that, of course, chronic stress has got huge repercussions on our life, right? So where's your stress coming from? Is your marriage bad? Right? I've been there, done that one time and one time only. Do you have a stressful job? That's the number one reason for stress for people is their job, right? Do you have financial issues? Are they either self-induced or you're living above your means? Because I have zero tolerance for that. I can tell you right now, I don't live above my means. You see that. You see where I live. I live in a tiny little house in a not so desirable area of Franklin. I have one payment, my house payment. I don't have a car. I don't have a credit card payment. I paid my business off. I paid my student loans off. I have busted my butt to live below my means.
She has peace of mind.
I do have peace of mind. Yes, I do. Are your children struggling? Is that causing you stress? They say, I can't remember. I think you're only as happy as your saddest child or something like that. Oh, yeah. I believe that. Been there. Are your parents in bad health? Are they aging? We're at the age to where our parents are aging and they're in bad health. And we both struggle with things. Yes, right? I just went home yesterday and that was a whole nother story we could talk about. My cortisol levels were up. Are you in bad health, right? Is your family causing you stress? Are people causing you stress? Where's the stress coming from, right? Chronic, long-term stress has been shown to increase the inflammation at a cellular level. Right?
Yes, at a
cellular level. Yeah. From the inside out.
From the inside out, like if you have stress, they showed like research, we were talking about it before, that if you have an indication of stress within your brain and it passes to your cells, that they say that your cells have a very high tendency to create toxins and to create chemicals that basically release stressful neuropeptides. So all that to say is when you get stressed, you actually release chemical toxins within your cells. And so it spills out into your blood, into your bloodstream. And so the more stress you have, the more chemical toxins you have in the brain. So people have these reactions. They'll have more allergies. They'll have more stomach issues.
Gas, more flagellants. I learned that today.
Brain fog.
I thought that was interesting. I've got terrible gas and sometimes, and sorry.
No, it's true.
But I don't have that much stress anymore in my life, but it'll increase the gas too.
It will do that. And so know that anything that stresses the brain, and it goes down to your thyroid. And Dani's the thyroid queen. Goes to your thyroid, to your adrenals. Anything that creates a fight or flight type of effect in your cells will trigger your cells to create all these toxins within themselves. And so the thing that's harsh is that it actually decreases the ATP production, which is your energy production. It actually decreases the metabolism of your cells and it makes them get sick. So your cells get sick when you get toxic.
That's exactly correct.
Just from stress. So if you think a bad thought, guys, and this is not to be negative, this is encouragement. When you think a bad thought, you release chemicals and you train your body to think a negative thought. It makes all the cells in the rest of the body think or react in a negative way.
Yes. In fact, that's interesting because we didn't go over this. So he didn't know you led right into what I was going to say. There's a study called the Heart and Soul Study. And they studied, and what they found was that lifetime exposure to chronic physiological stress is associated with elevated inflammation. Okay.
Wow.
The cytokines, right? The cytokines, right? Okay. So these were subjects. These were people they studied who had a history of cardiovascular disease, and they were veterans. So you need to know that off the top. They already had cardiovascular disease. And what happened is when they looked into these people's history of psychological stress, they measured their inflammatory cytokines and they hypothesized a connection. Inflammatory cytokine, well, what are cytokines, right? So those are chemicals, right, in your body. They're released by the immune system when you're under stress or you get sick or you have an illness or a virus or something like that. And they attack invaders like viruses, pathogens, bacteria, cancer, things like that. But on the cellular level, stress it gets all the way down to the cellular level.
It does.
Unbelievable. So I was watching somebody today and she said, get curious about what are you stressed about? So what are you stressed about? What are you all stressed about? Now, there's been a ton of people comment already here. and you're welcome to say or not say what you're stressed about on here. What are you stressed about? And then this gal said that I was watching on YouTube, she said, get curious about it. Look at it, step back from it like from a drone level up above, right? Look down, because the stress right now is huge, right? That's all you can see is this giant table right here full of stress. But when you go up above and you zoom out, right? And you see in the grand scheme of things, it's just a teeny tiny little speck many times. And many times what we're stressing over never even happens, right?
No.
To us. So start to notice what is continually making you stressed or worried, right? Just notice it. Don't judge it, but just pay attention to it. What is it? What's that pattern? What's that stress pattern, right? Is this thought helpful or is it productive for you, right? So just observe it.
Observe it, because when you notice a thought, if it's negative or positive, and you sit through it, noticing if it's positive or negative in your life creates neuronal networks. So if you look at a situation, guys, in your mind and in your heart, and you know that it's negative, the more you think about it, the more it creates more space in your brain for that thought. And I think you guys know that. So we're talking about, if you think a positive aspect of that stress, you need to focus on the positive, even though it's very hard for you. And for me, I say it for myself, and Dani does too. You do have to find the positive aspects of how it actually helps you grow. If you don't, you'll always think the bad thought. I read a report that they say, for instance, if I had a bad experience with a dog. Okay, true thing. When I was a young kid, I was 4 years old, and I had a chow dog attack me, and it teared up my face. I had teeth marks, and I had stitches all over my face.
What?
Yeah.
Are you telling the truth? Seriously, this is
I had
you?
60 stitches in my face.
What?
Ripped up ears up. Yeah.
A chow dog?
A chow dog got me.
Chows are mean. I had a half chow,
They're mean dogs.
half Shar-Pei. Woo!
So the one thing I think about with my neuronal network is, if you talk about a dog like a chow dog, the first thing I think about is a negative thought about it. Whereas we're talking about, I still have to cultivate a positive aspect of a chow dog. And I do, because why? It rewires you. So that's what we're talking about. It's like you have to rewire yourself. Yes. Is it productive or is it non-productive?
That's right.
You have to make it productive.
You sure do.
Yeah.
You sure do. So is this stressor that you're stressing about? Because many of you put things up here: family, spouse, your health, teenagers, amen to that one, work, family, illness, kids, all these things. Kids. Yes. But here's the thing. Is the stressor going to matter in 5 minutes, right? Or even 5 hours, 5 weeks, 5 years? Is it really going to matter?
Is it going to matter?
Think about it. Before we freak out, before the cortisol and the epinephrine and the norepinephrine, all those things start to rise up out of us, and the anger, right? Because anger, one episode of anger, like, increases your heart attack, like, I can't remember, like, tremendous amount, like 70 times or maybe more. I don't know. But is it going to matter in 5 minutes, right? Is it really going to matter?
Is it going to matter? And if you sit through it, they talk about in acupuncture, Chinese medicine, about sitting through the thought, where if you go to a point every morning in your prayers, if you're praying to God, if you're having meditations, and you get to a point where you think about, let's say, abuse or trauma that you had with a parent or with somebody in your life, and you get to that point, and it creates that little catch in your vagus nerve where and they say, and what is the first thing we all do? I want to avoid it. I never want to think about it. Push it away. But they say is like, sit through it.
Yes.
Find out what it is.
Sit through
Allow your
it.
body to feel what you're feeling, because then you're actually becoming aware of it.
Yes.
You're training your brain, your neurology, to actually go to the area and say, hey, I'm not afraid of it. Let's process through it. As much as it makes the bad feelings go through your body. I've had patients come in who've literally learned to sit through it and breathe through it. I had one patient where, Lord love her, she had she would think about like infections in her body, and she goes, I don't want to do anything with supplements. I was like, okay. So she would start doing that and breathe through it, almost going to a catatonic, like shaky state where she knew that she was breathing through it. And you know what? She comes back, she hardly has anything through it because of her positive outlook on it now.
Positive outlook.
Anyway, just saying this.
Yeah, well, when I was going through a divorce 16 years ago now, hard to believe, I took off and I went to Bali, to Indonesia. I was practicing yoga here in the United States with Rodney Yee, who was is still a great yoga teacher. Many of you saw, I ran into him in New York City in February.
Everybody.
And so we had our picture made and it was great. But anyway, Rodney and I were in Bali. I was at his teacher training and he knew I was going through a bad divorce. I'd had an affair. I had an affair, the whole mess, things I do not recommend. Those are self-induced stressors, by the way, that I was under a lot of stress in my marriage because he wasn't a nice man and he was pretty abusive and all that. But don't ever step out and have an affair because it never helps the situation. So I added some bad stress to my life. So anyway, I already got divorced. I was divorced, but I was reeling from all of this, the guilt of it and all the things that happen when you tear a family up and then you upset somebody else's family because if you ever have an affair, you're messing with 4 families. Yes, right? You're 2 and they're 2. And so, but Rodney told me, he said, you have to sit with this pain, Dani. You have to sit with the pain and the tension and the fear because I was scared to death. What am I going to do? And he said, like layers, one at a time. You've got to sit and you have to think about it. I'm a terrible meditator, but meditation is one of the best ways to decrease stress in your life, right? And one layer at a time, you peel it off and you observe it. And that's what he said. Just observe it. Don't judge yourself. You've already done the damage.
Already judge yourself,
Don't judge yourself. Don't make it even worse, but just observe it and say, that was rough. But guess what? I'm not broken. I thought I was broken. You're not broken. You're not broken. Nobody's broken. We are not broken people. We are humans and we're real and we're hurt people, but we're not broken people. Hurt people. That's what, lots of people say that, but Pete Wilson, my old preacher, he always would say that, hurt people. But you have to observe it, right? And you have to step back from it. And, when you're really worried, we lose the present moment here, right now, right?
So crazy.
We forget that and we lose it and we get so crazy and we're stressed and we're anxious and fear and anxiety and stress have the exact same emotions that excitement does, right? Heart racing, pounding, sweaty palms, all the things, just like this, the exact same. They don't know any difference. Fear and excitement don't know the difference.
They don't know the difference.
But it's how you think about it.
Exactly. How do you tag the information?
How do you tag it? It is fascinating to me now because I've spent a lot of years, 50 plus years, being hysterical about things. Imagine that. Just going crazy. It's saying bad things. It's all a disaster, damn it. It's just stop it now. I'll never forget my ex-husband and I, we were in California. His sister lives in Bakersfield. And we were driving from Bakersfield to Los Angeles. I just now thought of this. I hadn't thought about this in decades. And he missed the turn. So this was the days before cell phones. This was MapQuest, where I printed it off, right? And I was reading it off of here. Well, he missed the turn. This is how high strung. Now I'm still high strung, but I'm not like this so much anymore. I just said, you know what? Just friggin' go back to Bakersfield. It's just forget it. I don't want to go to Hollywood. I don't want to go to LA. Just go because we missed one turn. That's how crazy I was, right? And stressed out, right? I was in LA driving.
You crossed that limit.
Right.
It's okay.
But, I wasn't being in the present right then. I was just thinking, oh my gosh, just stupid stuff. But that's self-inflicted.
It is self-inflicted. But when you're not in the now, though, guys, they said that according to research, psychology reports were saying that when you are in the present stress, that your cells do not differentiate between being in the past or the present.
Yes.
It happens right now.
Yes.
Because if you think that I should be here, I should be in this position, I could have been this, or I would do this if quote, 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 your cells do not care. I use that lightly. If you're in the future thinking or in the past, it's happening to you now. Your cells react chemically.
Yes.
They react spiritually and emotionally as if it's happening now. So you got to be careful what you think. Like when she just said, you have to think positive aspects of any negative situation, as hard as it can be, because your cells will respond as if it's happening to you right now. And it is, because there's no
That's
future
funny.
past.
I wrote on here, shoulda, coulda, woulda. You know,
Go
right?
ahead, go
Right?
ahead.
Because you're always
Go for
thinking
it.
about that.
So
You know, I
good.
should have done this. I should have done this. I would have done this. I could have done this. Right?
Everybody's loving you when you said that. Look at all the people love you said
so
that.
that's funny. You had no idea. I wrote that on here. And I said, you know, just be in the moment. Be present now.
Yeah.
What happens tomorrow is tomorrow. We may not even wake up tomorrow morning. So what
No.
the heck are we worried about?
That is the truth.
Right now.
It is.
Be now. I missed so much of my kids' life.
Mhm.
I believe this, by not being present right now. Now, I was there. I was sitting there with them. I was in the doctor's appointment. I was in the teacher's meeting. I was at the soccer game or the football game or whatever it was that was going on. I was always there, but I was not present and centered. I was thinking a million different things. My gosh, the bills are due. This is that. We're on food stamps. Oh my Lord, I got to go back down to the Department of Health and whatever it's called down there. Just humiliation, health and humiliation, you know, and give them my finances for the last 6 months. I mean, all these things, when those kids just wanted me to be present. And I was constantly, just a minute, just a minute, a minute, right?
Yeah.
Their little life away. And I regret that. And it's, you can be there and you can be present, but you can be so not present. It's not even funny.
Like that shift when you went from not being present to start to become present.
Yes.
What was the moments in your life? I know it's a lot to think about, like, but when you started to shift over into that thing, like being present, was it like when you went back to school? Was it when like
No. When I went back to school, it was even worse because
really?
I spent 3 years holed up in my bedroom while those kids basically raised themselves. I mean, I fed them, I clothed them, I did all those things, but I had to study because I was 40 something and in a million different directions. So I had to really focus. No, it honestly wasn't until they pretty well grew up, which is really sad. Because I could sit back then. I didn't enjoy the time. I did not enjoy their time growing up. I did not. This is a prime example of how your life did not turn out at all the way I thought it was going to, right? Now,
yes.
I have a great life, right? So I could have done one of two things, right? I could have gone down a bad road or said, you know what, I'm going to pull myself up by my bootstraps and I'm going to go to school. I'm going to suffer through the humiliation. And I did all of that. But what was that? What were we just talking about?
No, about like,
I did not enjoy raising these kids alone.
Yes.
I did not enjoy them when they were little. I did not enjoy them as teenagers. What the heck? And then by the time I really liked them, and I really start to understand them, they friggin' move out, And so I was so stressed and so freaked out every single moment something happened, and just trying to get it all done, trying to get it done, trying to pay the bills, trying to feed them, trying to make sure I was learning whatever I was learning, what sure they were learning, so I missed a lot of it, but it really and honestly wasn't until just the last couple of years that they grew up that I chilled out enough to enjoy them and to think, man, you missed a whole lot of stuff. But so there's a part of me who beats myself up constantly over that. I missed it. I missed a lot. But then there's a whole side of me who knows, you know what, Dani, you missed a lot, but you've got time now.
That's what I was going to ask you.
Ella sat on this couch yesterday. No, today, came here to wash her clothes. And we sat together and we watched. She wasn't thrilled about it, but Sanjay Gupta's talk on how stress is killing us, right? And she's the one who said, I went to the bathroom real fast. She yells out, Mom, nobody's going to the prom. See? Yeah. But that was time we spent together, right?
Yeah.
And I wasn't doing anything but focusing on that and talking to her. So I'm learning, and it's never too late until it's too late, until we're dead.
Till you're dead, but I would say that as you've seen your children grow, and I'm talking to you guys out there, as much, quote, regret or you beat yourself up, like you said, I didn't spend as much time as I wanted to, I would suspect that your children would rather have a mother that has learned the steps of health and has taken steps to heal herself where they can enjoy their mother as they get older. Because I can say out of personal experience, when your mother doesn't feel well when you get older, that they don't want to sit there and try to think, I had to take care of my mom. At least my mom has an idea of health, and she is a firecracker, and she's going to go there. Like, as much as you think you've missed their life in that aspect, you've actually gained so much more time. They're adult, you're adult. You can talk to them in full conversation.
Yes.
You don't have to they don't have to take care of you as you're
no, they don't have to take care
of you at all.
No.
And so, quote, the time you took to get your degree, go where you're at, you guys are working hard to get where you wanted to go. You just gained that much more time.
Thank you. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. And I don't ever look at it like that.
That much more time.
Well, you do what you have to do in the moment and in the years that you have to do it, right? And you got choices. You have choices. You either lay down and die or you buck up and you make the best of it. And I did that. But I was a raving lunatic. Said things, oh, dear Lord, my windows would be open. I was like, oh, my gosh, I have just said horrible things. And those are all things that we do under stress.
Under stress.
And you ask for forgiveness and you say, I'm sorry, but words are like swords, right? There's only... Well, it's the same. Words and swords are the same letters.
Yes.
There's just an S in front of the word.
Oh, what is
right?
that? Good
and so my words have been swords many times with my kids. And I regret that more than anything. I don't have a husband to yell at or scream at anymore or things like that. But yeah, so yeah, words and swords, man. I'm telling you. And they cut deep. They cut deep and you can't ever take those back, but you can sure hope. And I remember the things my mom used to say to me growing up in a very stressful household. And I wanted this apple to fall far, far away from that tree. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes I'm just like my mother. Now, I've never said you're half-ass and you're never going to relate or amount to anything like my mom told me, and those are all things that are in your head. And so you just keep going, you just keep doing things. But I have done things like my mother did, right? And that's sad.
But the thing is, like, as you grow,
that
you see how you think, like, same with me, my parents. And so, like Jackson, you see Ella, and Ella and them love you, and they know my mom.
They do. We have a good time. And you know what? Ella sat here on this couch the other day, and she said, I sure do miss it here. And I said, oh, well, good. I said, you should, because you had everything, kid. Yeah. You had everything. But you know what? You should have kept your room clean. You should have kept your mouth quiet when you talk back, and you should have done a few things. Otherwise, you wouldn't be out on your own living now. But guess what? She's living on her own, and she's doing those things, and that's great. So,
but look, she said you should have kept your mouth shut and kept your mouth quiet. I was like, Dani, would you kept your mouth shut and not quiet?
No.
So,
that's why I left when I was 18 and never went back. I was gone. I knew what I needed to do. But everybody's different. But stress is stress, right? And you guys are saying here,
let me read these.
Such a difference as a grandmother, right? I take more time with those little things. Yes, Julie, I've always been told that if we knew how amazing grandchildren were, we would have them first. Always, right?
And they would be more lax with the grandchildren.
Yeah, right? Yeah. But I tell my kids, don't have children because you think I need them. Because I've already raised my children. I am totally fine to not have any grandchildren because I don't want to raise anybody else's babies. I did my own. I'm ready to live my own life.
You just want to go travel and have a good time.
I'm ready to travel well, eat well, sleep well, move well, all those things. Have good sex, all those things that I'm not, I'm doing all those other things, just not one of them. So, okay, Dr. Sanjay Gupta, One Nation Under Stress. That's the name of the documentary, One Nation Under Stress. So you guys need to watch that if you have HBO. I don't have it. If there's any way to share it to me, I would love it. So here's a book called, and we've got some questions about supplements on here. We're going to answer.
Look at this book, guys.
Okay. This is a book. If you haven't read it, it's called Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers. Has anybody read this? Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers. This is a fantastic book on exactly what it says. Why zebras don't get ulcers. Why do you think zebras don't get ulcers?
Well, I think you answered it but I would say this, like, what do zebras do and what do animals out in nature do?
That's right.
Is that if they're ever attacked, that they can go under a stress reaction.
Yeah.
They can go into the shakes, they get under trauma, their fascia likes to release the trauma. But after they let go of it, the next thing they thought is like, what's my next meal? I'm going to get something to eat.
That's right.
And go chill out.
So the lion's chasing the zebra, right? Mm-hmm. So boom, boom, pops out of the jungle there, across the whatever it's called in the jungle. I've never been on safari.
The Amazon.
Whatever, goes across the Amazon. That lion's chasing that zebra. That zebra's cortisol's going. And then one of two things happen. Boom, their guts are ripped out by the lion, right? And it's over. So there you go. There's no ulcer needed because done. Or they survive the attack or the chase. And then the zebra goes off, the lion goes off, and they go right back to normal. They don't sit around and worry about this for hours and days and make everybody's life miserable.
Yeah.
They go back, their cortisol levels go back down, right? Their epinephrine, norepinephrine, everything goes back down, and they go back to grazing and being a zebra. Not a stressed out zebras. Zebras don't get ulcers because they handle the stress response beautifully, as do all the animals in nature.
Like, can you imagine, like, I was thinking the other day, we talked about parasites, infections, bacteria, viruses, and I thought, this is the oddest thing about me and Danny. This is how we operate. We can drive down the road and see what do they call it? Like a vulture or a buzzard, turkey buzzard, they call them here in the South.
Turkey buzzard.
You watch them eating a dead animal, and you're like, that's horrible and disgusting. And I was thinking, there's so much bacteria in that dead animal, and they get into that bird, and they still live. And like, why? Because their stress levels are so down. They do is they eat the food.
Yeah.
They don't think about anything else.
Yep.
They can live in symbiosis with the bacteria and all
symbiosis.
the junk.
Woo,
that's
they're
with that.
symbiotic.
And if you ever watch in nature where you watch a cheetah fall, like getting it like a little impala or whatever they call them, and they knock them down, and somehow the little deer like escapes, and what do you watch? They get up and they do the shakes. They're like, they shake. And then they shake all that trauma out, and they shake, and then they get done, they walk off, they just live their life. Like, what else are they going to do? They're going to eat.
That's
so
right.
they
go find their honey, kiss them up on them, and they just go right back to life.
Oh, I need a female impala in my life. Okay,
I need a male jaguar.
I
need a
Frost through milk, baby. Table two. Whatever balance is on. It's all right. Okay,
all right, guys, listen. The top reasons people are stressed. Number one is job pressure, right? Co-worker bullying, right?
What?
Yeah, bully's bad. Boy, I worked with a bully. Let me tell you something. Bullies are bad in the workplace. She made me cry every single day. Co-worker tension, bullies, bad bosses. I can't see. Work overload, right? Job's number one. Money's number two, right? Losing your job. Quit your job where the bully was. Did that. Reduced retirement. What's that mean? Reduced retirement. I don't know what that means. Medical expenses. Reduced retirement. Maybe you can't retire. I don't know.
Yeah.
Money. Health. Oh, the money's reduced because you retired.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Health issues, health crisis, terminal or chronic illness, job pressure, money, health, relationships, divorce, or maybe you should get a divorce, death of a spouse, arguments with your friends or your spouse, loneliness. We are the loneliest society out there. Poor nutrition. Get this. Inadequate nutrition, caffeine, processed foods, refined sugar, media overload, number 6. I believe that.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's like
stress.
That's our lives.
Oh, for crying out loud. I mean, y'all know I don't live a perfect life. My social media shows me eating prunes and on a Friday night at 6:30 at night. I mean,
what do we do? Like,
we go to bed early. It's not perfect. It's not beautiful. Sleep deprivation. Your body heals when you sleep. If you can't sleep, you can't heal. You can't, if stress is a problem for you, then not sleeping is even going to make it worse because you don't think right when you're sleep deprived. You can't make good choices. You can't make good decisions, right? Inability to release adrenaline and other stress hormones. If you're sleep deprived, right? So, I mean, there's a whole bunch of things on here that I can't read because I don't have my glasses. So how are you going to deal with stress, right? Accept the things you can't control. Accept that you can't control everything. What?
And you can't control everything.
We're going to talk about the little serenity prayer. Do your best. Maintain a positive attitude. I'm going to tell you right now, people, attitude is key. It's just key. I just decided, Allie and I were at the office this afternoon. So on a Sunday afternoon, we're at the office because we've had a little stress at the office. And I just said to her this afternoon, I said, Allie, we're going to have a great week this week. And we both just burst out laughing because it is so stressful right now at the office. We've lost an employee and all kinds of stuff. And so, it's a mess. And so I just said, we're just going to laugh through it. But I was just going to laugh because all you can do is what you can do. You can't do anything else, right? And I'm not going to, I mean, I can't say anything.
No.
I'm speechless because you can't change what you can't change. And that's just it. But so you got to accept, what can you change? So we had some questions here about supplements. One girl said, can you use CBD to decrease your stress? All right, so I'm going to tell you a few things here that we do to help with stress. But I'm going to tell you, you can't really see back here, but you can't take enough pills or supplements to fix chronic stress. This is not treating the root cause. There's a root cause for that stress. Are you just a pot stirrer? Do you just like to stir stuff more than a Chinese cook? You know, seriously. If you're a pot stirrer, then I suggest you step back and stop causing it. If there's only one common denominator in all the stress going on in your life, and it's you, then you need to take a good hard look. Are you just a shit stirrer? Because I call people out on this quite often because I've been there and I've been the one stirring it. And I'm not going to do that anymore. So there's not enough of this to fix those things. This treats a symptom, not the root cause. But yes, whoever asked about the CBD oil is unbelievable for bringing your body back into homeostasis. That's what cannabinoids do. So the endocannabinoid system inside our body, endo meaning internal or inside, that system is designed to keep homeostasis in your body. Okay. So when it's out of balance, then we are out of balance, and many things can happen: chronic disease, seizures, migraines, all the things. But stress is one of those things that can imbalance that endocannabinoid system. Yes, I'm a huge fan of CBD. There's no certain dosing, but CBD works beautifully. As does magnesium. So I'm going to tell you, I'm a big fan of magnesium. And actually, when I was leaving today, Allie said, you got to read what Jody wrote. Jody's my nurse. And those of you that know Jody, she's great, about this Meta Relax. This is from Metagenics. She goes, holy cow, what can I say about this supplement? I saved a sample Allie gave me for a really bad mood or an anxious day when we're stressed out. You know those days when you want to go home alone and sulk. Those little packets of joy really made a difference, and my whole body turned around. What? Oh, no, my whole day turned around. I felt calmer, less agitated, and immediately purchased a box for myself. I always have a couple of those packets in my bag now, and if I ever need a little day changer, I surely will share the happiness. That's magnesium, right? That's the same for me. I don't do that one because I just don't. I do my OptiMag Neuro at night when I go to bed. This is magnesium threonate. Magnesium is a smooth muscle relaxer. So what does it do? It decreases anxiety, decreases tension. If you're tight, if you're having heart palpitations, if your legs are restless, all those things, it helps. It helps with stress. But it doesn't fix the root cause, people. It does not fix the root cause. And there's a million things back here. Tryptophan, mushrooms. Oh, you haven't seen this.
What is that?
These are brand new for us. These are all kinds of mushrooms from Metagenics for stress. Look at those mushrooms in there. Turkey tail, chaga, I don't know, all the different reishi.
Oh my goodness.
All different kinds of mushrooms.
Brienne, why didn't you tell me about this?
Yeah, Brienne, if you're watching tonight, here's another big one that I love, ashwagandha. Ashwagandha is an adrenal adaptogen. So it helps with stress, right? It helps to calm you down, helps you sleep at night. But this mushroom one right here, it's called maitake.
Maitake.
My gosh.
Maitake.
These are all things. There's things here. GABA. GABA is one of my favorites. GABA is just like, woo. GABA is for the people with physical symptoms of stress, tight jaws, tight shoulders, tight this. Just tight all the way around. Migraine, headaches, GABA, boom, you pop it in your mouth. But again, what's the root cause of it? What's causing the stress? You have to address, where's the stress coming from? Right?
Can you sit through it? Can you actually accept the fact that when patients come to me and they'll have a neck that locks up or they have shoulders that lock up, and we have patients that go, I always get afraid when I know that there's these little symptoms and signs that come up, and for example, if a patient comes in and they have a lot of resentment or anger or frustration.
Anger's huge, guys.
What happens in Chinese medicine, they'll say that the gallbladder meridian that runs down the back of the neck, a lot of individuals will come in and they go, my neck locks up. Why? When you get in a stressful situation, my neck locks up.
Mm-hmm.
And so what the first thing is that you can get afraid of it. And then they go, oh, I got to take an Advil or something. And that's okay. I get that. But I always suggest to the patient, say, just sit through it.
Yep.
Know that your liver and your gallbladder are processing anger.
That's right.
And if you take something, you're trying to avoid thinking about it and recognizing it. And it's okay to take the things we talk about.
That's right.
But if you sit through it and let it process through, it will actually heal you. And so you actually will almost accept, not like, we talk about, you're not going to like it, but you can accept the fact that when that feeling comes in your neck, you go, I'm actually trying to heal. I actually have the energy. I actually have the capacity to heal. Like, I'm trying to find awareness and fullness and joy, like in this experience.
That's right.
That's me. When I had Lyme, like, I hated when my neck locked up. I hated when my jaws locked up. But guys, to get as nerdy as we get, like the small intestine, the gallbladder channels run right in your jaws, like TMJ. And I knew my gallbladder was releasing so much anger. And I was like, I'm so mad right now.
Oh.
But I know it's processing right now. And I'd feel like my jaws were going to pop open, but I knew I had a lot of anger.
My jaws pop open all day, every day.
Go for it.
It's my gallbladder releasing all that anger I've had for all
long.
these years. No, sorry. Keep going.
No,
sorry.
I love it.
Sorry,
Keep going.
sorry.
You
No,
got it.
you talk it. You're talking.
But I'd say that's what happens when you get to that point where you are frustrated and you're angry and you feel little symptoms coming on. You think, I'm not healing. You are healing. You're becoming more aware of the actual underlying cause. And to know, like just Dani, what she just said about taking GABA and tryptophan and taking things that actually help calm you down. But the calming down is actually to make you more aware of the underlying cause and make you not afraid of it.
That's right. So you can take all of this, and you can, because if you need a little tryptophan or a little GABA to help you get through, that's great. But then you got to step back, step up, take a wide angle look and say, okay, what's the root here?
Yeah.
Does it really matter? Is it going to matter in 5 minutes, 5 years, 5 weeks, what decades? Is it really that important? And what can I do to change this in the future? Right?
So good. So good.
Do I need to change my job? Heck yeah. I'm a big believer. If you're in something that is not serving you well, figure out a way to change it, whether it's your marriage, your friendships. You can't get rid of your children. You can get rid of your spouse. I don't promote divorce, but I'm going to tell you right now, if you're in an abusive marriage, verbally, physically, sexually, mentally, emotionally, you don't have to be there. You can find a way to make it. I know I did. I left and I was flat on the ground and I had to go sit and apply for food stamps and tend care. And I did it because I knew I had to raise my kids. So I'm going to tell you right now, there's no, you don't get a medal for staying in something that's killing you.
Oh, that's so cool.
I mean, you don't. Yeah, now, I'll get nasty emails or I may get messages about it. I am not promoting divorce, but I am telling you now, you don't have to be in an abusive marriage or a relationship. If you're just dating somebody and they're abusive to you, then get out. I'd rather be alone any day, and I am, than be in an abusive relationship. Not going to do it again, ever.
But I think that like the beauty of it, that when you say be by yourself, it's like, it's the choice, guys. It's like you have the choice of being in something that's healthy or not healthy. And as long as it may take you, just find something that's healthy for you. And Dani and I talk about that a lot. It's you find something that's truly healthy for you, and you
don't. So here's the thing. You have to also be okay with, you know what? I may never have another boyfriend. I may never get married. I may never date anybody again. I don't know. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. But you know where that peace comes from? Right here.
Right here. It's like
I would rather be in the state I'm in right now, learning, studying, working, hanging out with my friends, going to work out. I went to the gym today, nearly died because it's been a while since I've been there. All these things, taking care of myself, than being something that's going to stress the heck out of me and make me just miserable. And I can't focus on you, helping every one of you that I do. I'm not doing it. And I am certain God has somebody out there for me, but I am certainly not scared of being alone.
I think that is the truth.
And I've been single for 16 years. Now I've dated people in that time frame, 6 years, one man. Good Lord, that was ridiculous. Cheater. And he was awful. But I loved him. And all that. But I'm okay. If I'm alone forever, I'm okay. And I think you have to be, I am alone, but I am not lonely. And there is a huge difference. I was in a marriage and I was lonely. You can be in a room of 10,000 people and be extremely lonely. Or you can be single, be alone, but not lonely. I'm not lonely. Number one, I got Jesus. So, he's pretty cool. For me, he's pretty neat. Now, he's awesome. And so, I got Jesus. And people say, oh, yeah, but you want a relationship. Yeah, I want a relationship. I want all that. But I'm going to wait till he brings me somebody that I'm not settling for, because I settled the first time, and I'll be damned I'm not settling the second time. Not going to do it.
There's always a difference between being lonely and aloneness. I think that aloneness is like the people who are the greatest theologians and the monks, that they realize that they could be alone.
Yes.
And be with the Lord and be with God, and that it could feed their hearts and feed their souls to where they're aware of who they are. And then they come into contact with somebody who can actually give you a full front hug and say, I care about you, you care about me, but I have no expectations of you. I don't have any demands of you. And
isn't that amazing?
That's what we all
that's
look
just
for.
Peace.
It's peace.
That's just peace. And there's no stress in that kind of relationship.
There is no stress.
I'm not going to be in a relationship coming forward that causes me stress.
Yep.
Now there's stress. Life is stressful, but I'm not going to get into something that's added extra stress other than just life stress. I'm not going to.
And I think that with what you're saying, that like trying to find a mate that way, that if as you grow and you look for that, it'll naturally attract to you. And it'd be better if you, in my opinion, like as friends, I'm saying if you had 2 years of life with somebody who truly loved you,
you bet.
Like, it's worth in having 10 years of like just horrible relationships.
Amen.
We see that. We see, and you guys do too. You see like your friends who've gone through divorce and stuff, and you're like so much heartache and so much pain, and you go, I don't want to go through that. I'm going through that. It's like, but we're promoting it. It's like, we know how hard it has been for you. Like,
yes,
waiting is a hard part.
Waiting is hard, and our timing is not his timing.
It is.
And I am so bad at that, because I like things on my own time frame. I'm a single, independent woman who does things on my time frame. So here is the thing: whenever it comes time to find somebody, I'm going to have to compromise. We'll talk about that later, because that's stressful, and I don't want that.
Tell me, I'll call you after this.
So Bonnie says, all right, yeah, preach. Yeah,
Yes,
I am preaching it. And yes, magnesium is very important. Well, what are we going to do? So what are you going to do about all this stress? What does the research show? The research shows that exercise is the number one thing you can do to decrease stress, right?
Yes.
Because when you don't feel well, now again, it's a double-edged sword. If you're really sick and you don't feel well, you don't feel like exercising, but there's always something that you can do. But exercise, research shows that not only does exercise help us cope both physiologically and psychologically with stress, it lowers blood pressure, it lowers resting heart rate while increasing lung capacity. Find something you love, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't like to exercise, then get out there and do something you love. I love my new hula hoop. Woo-hoo-hoo! I love it. I don't have room because I have a tiny house to show you all, but I am going to tell you right now, this hula hoop is my friend. And I hula. Who was it? Somebody, I think Dr. Kellum came over the other day, and I didn't know he was at the front door watching me. I was in here hula hooping. But I love my hula hoop, whatever. Plus, you can't hula hoop and not laugh. So there you go. It's kind of like skipping. You cannot skip down the road and not laugh. It's not possible. So these are all good things that help decrease stress. Find you some exercise. Meditation, right? So what are my favorite apps for meditation? Now, you can just sit down and meditate, because back when I started meditating and was teaching yoga and traveling, that hula hoop's great. It's weighted. We're going to do a little hula hoop video in a minute. We didn't have apps because we didn't have cell phones, right? So there's an app called, write these down. There's one called Calm, and they read you bedtime stories. Matthew McConaughey does that.
Now, I'm just going to say, Murph, when you get out there, look at the stars. Don't worry about it, Murph. It's going to be all right. Sorry, no. Keep going.
Oh, my gosh. Anytime Matthew McConaughey reads you a story while you're in bed. He's the same
character in every movie. Woo! And he can make it because he's every lady loves Matthew McConaughey.
I don't know how old he is, but he's so Calm, CALM. That's an app. Then there's Insight Timer. Insight Timer is amazing. Meditation, deep breathing, all these different things that you can do. And it tells you how many people are actually meditating right then in the worldwide.
Yeah,
it's fascinating. And then there's Headspace. Headspace is probably the most popular.
Yeah.
Headspace is excellent. There's also one called Breathe.
Just
Breathe. So that's, I think, 5. I just gave you 5 apps where you could learn to meditate from 2 minutes to 30 seconds to 2 minutes to an hour to meditating, right?
What?
Your cortisol levels go down.
Relax down.
The research shows that, right?
Mm.
When you finish a meditation session, when you finish a yoga class, your cortisol levels are down. You can handle stress better. Do it. 30 seconds before you get out of bed. You can call it praying. I don't care what you call it. Just do it and breathe. Do you know we only use about 15% of our lung capacity? Only 15%, right?
Mm.
If you just take a deep breath right now, and you focus more on the exhale than you do the inhale, I mean, just about 3 breaths of that, that's going to decrease your stress right then, right in the moment, in the present moment,
in the
right?
present moment. You increase the effect on your diaphragm and on the vagus nerve, and so you increase your parasympathetic levels.
That's right.
The base of the skull, the base of the sacrum.
That's
and
right.
so there's different apps, and she was just telling about it. If you actually just literally learn how to breathe.
That's exactly right.
Relax your stomach. In
Learn
any
how to
situation.
breathe. Do you know that in
Relax.
yoga and Sanskrit, the word breath work is pranayama, and that means life force
so
in
pretty.
Sanskrit. Pranayama. So you do your pranayama practice, right? And there's all different kinds of practice. Nostril breathing, all kinds of things I used to do that I've gotten myself out of. And I'm like, well, you know, Dani, why not get back in it? Because I'm not getting any younger. Maybe it'll help me. You know, there's a reason yoga and pranayama and breath work and meditation have been around for literally 2,000 years.
Yes.
You know the reason? They work. It works. It works. It works. So do it. Just do it. Find you a good yoga class. Talk it out. Talk it out, your stress. Talk it out.
Talk it out.
Get into therapy if you need to be in therapy. Talk it out. Find a friend or just talk. I talk all the time because I'm always by myself now. So I talk out loud all the time. I don't know if that's good or bad. Get good sleep, right? Now, we know all about sleep, and we have talked about sleep for 1.5 years, you and I have. So there's plenty of videos on sleep here. Electromagnetic fields. Do you know I had a patient? Oh, I hadn't talked to you about this.
What happened?
I had a patient last week. She said, out of everything you've done, the best thing that you've ever done was teach us about electromagnetic
What?
fields.
That's
I
awesome.
said, what? She said, she came to the workshop that Vicki Warren did at the office too. She said, my husband and I, we went home, we metered our entire room, we unplugged everything. They did the electrical cord, the extension cord that Vicki said, and they plugged their stuff, and they turned the breaker off to their room at night. She said, we no longer have interrupted sleep. We sleep all night long. The breaker goes off in there. They set the whole thing up. They did everything we talked about. She said, I said, well, you don't even need me anymore. I'll see you in a year. Okay, eat well. You got to eat well, sleep well, move well, poop well, decrease stress, and have community. It works. You got to eat a non-inflammatory whole food diet. We've talked about that forever. You got to have community.
Yes.
If you want to decrease stress, you need community. Not this. This is fine, and this is all about education, and we all support each other, and all those things are great. But you need eyeball to eyeball with people. You need your tribe. And even if you only have one person, that is your tribe. That is your root. You need a root. You don't need many leaves out there because they just blow off with the wind. You need roots and you need a trunk, right? And it's one person can be a strong root. You need a church group if you go to church, a women's group, some sort of community group, anything, right? Get out there and volunteer. Find your tribe. When you are giving back to other people, you don't worry about the stressors in your life so much, right?
They fit into you so
go on a
much
mission
more.
trip. You want to go on you want to bring it down to life and what's really important. Take off and go to Haiti or Guatemala or Ecuador.
I truly agree. I think that when you have such a strong small group or even a big group of like community, in my life, I think that I have many brothers, and they know who I'm talking about. Like my friend Tommy's here. He's like my brother. And Tommy Neal's like the craziest guy in the world, but I love the guy. But he's like my brother, and I don't see him for 2 years. Like I haven't seen him in 2 years, but he's like maybe coming in town. But anytime I see my friend Tommy,
Yeah.
He has to come. He's so funny. If I see him, when I see him, it's like it just picks up right where we
That's
left off.
exactly right. My friend
And that's the kind
Yana.
of friends you want.
That's exactly right. My best friend from nurse practitioner school, Yana, I don't know if she's watching tonight or not, but I had not seen Yana in 7 years. And I was in Miami 3 months ago, and she lives in Miami. And it was immediate. The second we met on the beach, we talked for 4 hours. We did not stop. And I'm going back in 2 weeks to a conference in Miami. And guess what? She's going to be there. So I'm going to be learning about anti-aging. Okay. All right. Eliminate, delegate, automate. Did you get it? Eliminate, delegate, automate. If you're stressed, it's in the door. If you're stressed, what can you eliminate? Eliminate. What can you delegate? What can you automate? My friend Michael Hyatt preaches this all the time. Cut it out. It's in the door somewhere.
Got it.
Delegate. What is it that only you can do, especially in your job? For me, it's see patients. Nobody else can see patients there. Dr. Motley, nobody else can see patients. Just drink it all. Just drink it all. Only he can see patients. Only I can see patients. Everything else, Chris Motley, can be delegated.
Yes.
We take on so much thinking we have to do it right. We are the only ones who can do it. Nobody else can do it right. Delegate it. How about just eliminate it? It's not even worth it. Just eliminate it or automate it.
Yes.
Have your groceries automatically shipped in to you. Have somebody else go do your groceries, right? That's automation. That's shipped, or Kroger or Whole Foods or whatever, Publix, all the things, Walmart. Now they all deliver your groceries.
Everything.
If that's a stressor for you, then automate it. It's worth the $5. Now, if you don't have $5, then I totally get that because I've been there. But eliminate, delegate, automate, write it down, figure out what it is that you can cross off to decrease the stress in your life because it is killing you. Cut out what you can cut out. Are you overextended? Because why? Kids don't want to be overextended.
No.
They don't want to be running all over the place. Cut it out.
No. Zebras don't. I'm not being sarcastic. It's
Zebras.
like really, like when you read the book, it's like they don't want to like overextend themselves. Like how much can you do in the present moment? How can you step with one foot in front of the other?
That's right.
And fix. I don't like to use the word fix, but what can you take care of like right here and now? Like and that's the whole point of it. It's like, can you get Amazon to deliver your food, or if you can't, we understand that, but try to take out as many steps as you can.
It's exactly right. And if you are living beyond your means, people, that is a huge stressor. Who are you trying to keep up with? What is that all about? Let me tell you right now, if you can't afford that car that's in your driveway, if you can't afford that house, if you can't afford that TV, whatever, then sell it. Sell every single thing you own. Sell it all and start over because it is just bullshit. That is all it is. This is just stuff. It is just stuff, and it clearly doesn't make you happy if you are stressed out every single day worrying about, am I going to be able to pay the mortgage this month, or can I pay that car? You don't need a car. If you can't pay for your car in cash, you don't need it.
Yeah, there was the documentary we talked about happiness, and they said that they did a research between millionaires and the people who made a middle income and even lower income. They said that even individuals who had between the net worth of $30,000 to $50,000, but they didn't have much debt at all, were as happy as the people who were millionaires and had tons of money.
You bet.
They're like, there was no difference. They thought that if I had less debt, I mean, even if it was like not complete debt free, but I had less debt, and I still made $50,000 a year, $40,000 a year.
Yep.
I still had as much happiness as a millionaire.
You bet.
Why? Because their mind was not all over the place.
Your mind's not, I'm not worried about paying my bills. If I honestly, if something happened to me, I could go 6 months without working because I did what Dave Ramsey told me to do.
Yeah.
I saved and I saved and I scrimped and I scrimped, and I live in a little $160,000 house that I bought 5 years ago in Franklin, which is now worth about $300,000. That was a good move. Knock on wood. But I have $1,000 a month house payment, and I'm going to tell you right, this is all I owe is this right here. So I have a savings that if something happened to me, this is the first time in my life though that I have ever been able to do that.
Yeah.
I travel a lot because I go to a lot of conferences and stuff, but I'm telling you right now, put the house on the market, sell it. It's a good time to sell a house. Get rid of the car that you have a payment for. pay off everything you can and start with the smallest bill first. You want to decrease stress, that'll do it.
Yeah,
and as you start those little wins, boom, 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 and then you go on up
Add
and pay
up.
off the big things, right?
Yeah.
Try to predict the stress, right? And cut it off before it happens. Predict it. What are your major stressors? Predict it. Cut it off. Okay? So maybe, just maybe, the stressor isn't someone else or the situation. Maybe it's you. It could be. Or it could be how you perceive it.
Oh,
you may need to be the one that makes the changes. Maybe you're the one causing the stress. And I had a friend one time, I said to her, I said, I'm not going to say her name, but I said, there's one common denominator in all this turmoil that you keep telling me about. For years, she told me all about this. And I said, it's you. And I thought she'd never speak to me again, ever. I was sitting right out back about 5 feet from here, outside in a summer day.
Yeah.
And she was dead silence. And I thought, oh no, because she was a mentor of mine. And she it was her. She was the one common denominator. And then she talked to me forever, but she called a friend of mine also and said, you're not gonna believe what Dani Williamson said to me. And he said, yeah, that's true. So one of the last lines in this book right here was, one should not give ulcers in order to avoid getting them. Right? One should not give ulcers in order to avoid getting them. So we need to be nice. And we need to treat other people the way that we want to be treated, right?
Yes, completely.
So here's what I said. The stressors of the lion and the zebra are real. They are real, right? The stressors of traffic, long lines at the grocery store, money worries, overwork, relationships, those are all real also for us, right? But they're not like the lion and the zebra. They're not. Put your stressors in perspective.
Oh,
wow.
Perspective,
right? Put it in perspective.
Yeah. Are they going to make you live? Are they going to make you die? It's like, really, some things you look at it, guys, it's like, it truly is not worth it. It's not the biggest
right
deal.
Yeah. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
All right. And in the words of Reinhold Niebuhr, right? Those of you in AA or who know about AA will relate to this. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, right? Courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference.
Oh, boom.
I mean, that's what it's all about,
That's
right?
really great.
I mean, I was in Al-Anon for a lot of years, and we talked about that a lot, but it's true. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. Courage to change the things I can. That's huge right there. And wisdom to know the difference.
Oh.
And when you know that, and when you practice that, then everything is in perspective. Don't blow it out of proportion.
Don't.
Right?
You can't.
There are real stressors out there. Real ones. There are people with chronic disease, stage 4 cancer, right? There are people in Haiti. I mean, there are major stressors. Your stressors are important, but put them in perspective. Because once you really start to step back and take a global view of it, looking down, I mean, how big is it?
Really? How big is it?
And then you feel like a jerk. Like, well, gosh, I just bit his head off because, why? Right?
It is completely about the perception of your stress. And I think that the beauty of what we're talking about tonight is that as you sit in your stress and you sit through the pain and you sit through the heartache and you see how it affects you, the more you become aware of the stress and how big it is will give you the awareness of how much you need to respond to it. There's a difference between respond and react. And
Amen.
Psychology is like, if you react to it, is because you've been trained by programming by your parents to react to something. And then we're talking about how can we train ourselves to become more aware and to calm down and to respond to it. So if something comes to us and it's a really big idea and you go, my first reaction is, Tommy knows this, is like, I got the motley side of me and I'm like, oh, I want to go back at it and just say something. I go, let's step back. Let it cultivate, sit through where it's at in my body, and then I go, okay, how can I respond to it? That's what we're talking about, because reaction will always create high cortisol, high thyroid, huge amounts of hormonal disruption.
Destroy your health. It will destroy your health. You
learn how to respond to it, and you can cultivate that response and see where it is in your body and how you can sit through it. It will be a lot healthier, definitely. And we had such good talk when you said
reaction and reflection. Man, you should reflect and not react.
So good.
Oh yeah, this is good stuff.
Eliminate, delete,
All right,
automate.
guys.
That is so good.
I'm telling you, we're full of it, and we're way over. It's a good Lord, it's an hour. You people, we love you guys. Is the glass half full or the glass half empty? That's exactly right. But I'm going to tell you right now, there are some stressors that will kill you. Stress will kill you. And there are big things to worry about. But I'm going to tell you right now, if you believe in a higher power, for me, it's my Jesus. You know, there's just not much that he can't take off of me and handle. Well, there's nothing he can't take off of me and handle. So who am I to worry about it? He's got it, right? He's got it. Exactly. You guys, are you going to be here next week or not?
I won't be here next week.
Okay, so
maybe the week after I should be here.
Okay, so next week I'm going to ask, and I don't know if she's watching or not, Dr. Leslie Cuevas, who is a rheumatologist. What's going on there? Yep. She's a rheumatologist. I'm going to see, would y'all like for her to come talk about autoimmune disease, fibromyalgia, and chronic fatigue?
That'd be so good.
Yeah, I'm going to ask her and see. I'm going to ask her. If she can't do it, then we'll come up with something else. This Thursday night at Integrative Family Medicine, we're having a roundtable on breast implant illness. What are you doing Thursday night? You need to come listen to this because you treat a lot of women who have implants, and you need to be more aware. Okay. I mean, we all do. Yeah. I have a group of 6:30. Okay. I have a group of 4 women who have agreed to come and share their stories. They've had their breast implants removed, and they're on their healing journey now. One was bedridden for 2 years. She's an actress from Los Angeles. She's moved here. You'll get to meet her. Her implants are removed. One was on Capitol Hill last week, who at the big breast implant symposium that was going on up there. That's Thursday night, 6:30 at Integrative Family Medicine. If you are local, I need you to show up because this is huge. Yeah. These women telling their stories, and I honestly want it standing room only in there, and I want all of us to come support these women because this is huge and we're missing it. If you have breast implants and you have been sick afterwards, your anxiety's gotten worse, your chest pressure's worse, your joint pain is worse, autoimmune has happened, migraines, all those things, then you need to think about breast implant illness.
Breast implant illness.
Thursday night, 6:30, Integrative Family Medicine. Friday night, 6:30 is the Hashimoto Support Group meeting. I'm leading it. So either you'll show up or you won't. I don't know. 6:30. And then Saturday, we are open this Saturday from 10 to 1 at the supplement store. We're open now on Saturdays, one Saturday a month. And that Saturday that we're open, I do a CBD workshop at 1 o'clock from 1 to 2 afterwards. So if you are interested in learning about CBD, all the benefits, the research, the clinical studies, there's over 500 going on right now. You're welcome to come to that Saturday. All 3 of these are on Dani Williamson Wellness under events. So you can RSVP there. But I'm going to tell you, more than anything, I want you there Thursday night because this is big. This is not about me. I'm not teaching this. I am just going to moderate it, and I am going to let them share their stories because this is huge.
It is huge. It is huge. I've had patients that come in and have had breast implants removed, and they've had chronic sicknesses since the time they actually had breast implants till present day. And indications where, like we talked about it, like we find indications on the patient that they may have some toxicities around the area that they have the conditions, and they have chronic parasitic issues or hormonal issues. And literally, I had one patient that went and got her breast implants removed because I thought you may want to get checked out. Didn't tell her she had to do it. She got one implant that was completely fine. The other one was deteriorated and broken through, and it had mold in it like a shower curtain.
Oh yeah, mold like a shower curtain. I see it
all through there. And she's like, since that time, she's been sick the whole time, and now she's actually getting better.
All 4 of these women that are speaking Thursday night have had their implants removed. Yes. So if you should tell your patient if you can, because I would love for her to come.
Okay.
Anybody is welcome to come. It's an open meeting. So also, Dr. Chris Motley, Integrative Family Medicine, both of us were nominated for Sizzle Awards this year.
Yeah.
Franklin, do you know they upped it? It was supposed to end tonight at 6 o'clock. We were winning on our category.
I probably wasn't winning.
I don't know. I think you were really, really, really close, actually. So April the 5th, they've extended the deadline to April the 5th. We would appreciate it if you would vote for us. I've never won. Have you won the Sizzle Award?
You won
No. I won the Healthcare Leadership Award last year, which was huge. That was like we beat that was so unexpected. we were nominated last year. We didn't win. Anyway, franklinis.com. Every vote matters. Franklinis.com. We're under health and wellness.
Yeah.
I'm under health and wellness 2. He's under health and wellness 3. But you have to vote for every business in that category, like pediatrician, sports medicine, blah, 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 whatever. Vote for whomever you want, but you vote for Integrative Family Medicine and Dr. Chris Motley. We would so appreciate your votes because it's a big deal. And if we win it, we get to go to a big party. But it's, it's just the fact
we're gonna go to a party, guys. Vote for us. We're gonna go to a big party.
We'll do videos.
It's
just the fact that we were nominated. I don't know who nominated us. I have no clue who nominated us, but I'm thrilled to death. But we would love for you to vote. franklinis.com. Please vote. It's all over my website. It's on his too. So, or not website, Dani Williamson Wellness. We love you guys.
Love you guys.
Stress is killing you. Just know that. You got to know how to handle it, and you got to, what's your perception of it, right? Can you step back?
That's the truth.
Only deal with what you can, what is actually, what you actually can change. Okay?
Yes. One step in front of the other and fix what you can do right in front of you. That's all. Every day I go to the office and I always think, what can I do to make this person, quote, better? And that's what we do every day. But it becomes so overwhelming because we think about all the things we woulda, shoulda, coulda done. And the one thing I say is fix what's in front of you. Work with what's in front of you. That's all you can do.
That's exactly right.
And I say that we all had to do what's in front of us right now.
Right now.
Present.
Don't worry about the future. The future is going to take care of itself.
It will.
Because I'm telling you, his plans are not our plans, right? Yes. So thank you guys for voting. Yes, Julie says she's been voting every single day. Thank you. Because you can vote more than once, and we're going to need your help now that we got a stinking week.
She doesn't. I'll need a lot of help.
No, I need a lot of help. Williamson Medical Group, because I happen to have the last name of the stinking hospital and the county that we live in. Yeah, I think they're voting for them, thinking it's me. I am Integrative Family Medicine, and like I'm fighting against myself over here.
That's exactly what's happening.
That's what my dad said. He said, I bet people are voting
for
Williamson
guarantee that's what they're doing.
They don't know, that you're not. Williamson Medical Group is the stinking hospital. Williamson Medical Center there, the hospital. So please vote for Integrative Family Medicine.
Vote for it. Come on.
All right, guys, we love you. We appreciate you. He'll be back in 2 weeks. I'm going to text Dr. Leslie Cuevas right now since I've already made it public that she's going to be here next week. I hope she can. All right, guys. We love you. Have a good week.
See you guys.
Remember, breathe. Go download your stress apps right now. Calm, Insight Timer, Headspace, and Breathe. Those are the 4 big ones. We love you.
And then watch. Here we go.
And again.